Chapter 2131 The Second Scroll, complete. The original plan between Emperor Bai and ancestor Xianxia had only one step, which was for Jian Wushuang to infiltrate into the imperial city, use the void token, and allow all the experts from the eternal chaotic world to come in and destroy the city. But after some thought, Emperor Bai felt wiping out only the experts within the city was not enough. After all, most high-level experts would not stay in the city. From there, Step 2 was formed. I have discussed this plan several times with Xianxia. It should be possible, and if we want to make our move we should do it while the Three Emperors world is not completely prepared. If you need a decade to master the secret skill and reach third stage, I'm afraid they will have been well prepared by then. So, 3 years at most. Emperor Bai looked towards Jian Wushuang. You must complete it within 3 years. If you need resources, just say. The Sanctuary Alliance has spent 6/10 of our resources opening the Heaven Repairing Palace, but the remaining resources are still plentiful. Understood, rest assured, I will master it within 3 years, Jian Wushuang replied. Jian Wushuang was confident. 3 years may not have been a long period of time, but with enough resources, cultivating the immortal celestial body's second scroll would not be difficult. Even if he did not make it in time, he could still head for Three Emperors world without third stage Great Emperor fighting power. Good, Emperor Bai nodded. Regarding the list of experts that will follow you, Xianxia and I have decided on that already. Take a look. Emperor Bai passed the list to Jian Wushuang. He took a look at it. There were 6 more great emperors on it besides him. Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, and Emperor God Qianling from the Sanctuary Alliance, King Chen-Xing, Black Dragon Emperor, and Lei Yun from the Special Tribes Alliance. 6 great emperors, 3 from each alliance. In terms of ability, Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, King Chen-Xing and Black Dragon Emperor were second stage great emperors. Emperor God Qianling and Lei Yuan were pinnacle first stage great emperors. Add Jian Wushuang himself, and the team became extremely formidable. What do you think? Emperor Bai asked. It'll do, Jian Wushuang nodded, but I want to add another person. Oh. Emperor Bai looked over, surprised. I have a sword servant by the name of Jian Yi. He is from the ancient era, his powers fully restored, with pinnacle second stage fighting powers, Jian Wushuang said. Pinnacle second stage? Emperor Bai and ancestor Qianxia's eyes gleamed. The current eternal chaotic world only had 2 people with that level of fighting power, Emperor Bai and Jian Wushuang himself. They had never heard of a third person. Sure, bring him along. Just remember the list of people, no need to mention it for now. 3 years from you, before you take off, find them one by one, and don't tell them of your purpose, just in case, Emperor Bai said. Understood. Jian Wushuang soon left. Soon after Jian Wushuang returned to the Green Fire World, ancestor Qianxia sent people to deliver the resources Jian Wushuang needed. Jian Wushuang himself began to shut himself out in a secret room. Jian Wushuang sat in the middle of a pool. The water in the pool was emerald in color, with its own fragrance. The water was eternal chaotic world's rare emerald heart water, each drop containing pure and billowing divine power. A drop of this was rare in the world, but over here, there was a whole pool of it. Besides that, there were other treasures. Jian Wushuang absorbed the pure power frenzily to cultivate the second scroll. The faster he absorbed, the higher the price. Every day Jian Wushuang cultivated, he used an astronomical figure of resources, enough to dumbfound an almighty. But in those circumstances, the Sanctuary Alliance did not hold back. No matter the price, as long as Jian Wushuang could cultivate in time, it would be worth it. Time passed. 3 years soon flew by. Specifically, it was only 2 years and 9 months. Within the secret room, Jian Wushuang opened his eyes, and along with it a golden light emerged. A black, jade-like complexion covered his body. Immortal celestial body's second scroll, complete at last. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists, visibly excited. Instantly, he could feel his divine body changing. The immortal celestial body itself was an extremely powerful skill, with a divine body going through the most change upon completion of the second scroll. Without doubt, the strength of his divine body had risen to a whole new level, his self-defense mechanism now stronger. With such a strong divine body, along with the perfect chaotic holy body he had obtained through inverse cultivation's 7th step, even if he faced a pinnacle 3rd stage expert, he would have no fear. He would not be able to kill Jian Wushuang. Once he truly reached 3rd stage, he would be truly invincible. By then, even a 4th stage Great Emperor could not stop him, and the highest one could go was the 4th stage. Besides his divine body, his divine power had increased significantly as well. This power, slightly stronger than what I expected, Jian Wushuang smiled. He could feel this billowing power. This power was way beyond what a normal Great Emperor could possess. Based on fundamental power itself, Jian Wushuang had already surpassed Great Emperors. This was inverse cultivation's advantage. It was not subject to the constrictions the land had placed. Even Demon King Chen Yu's fundamental powers could only hit pinnacle Great Emperor levels. It was only because of the secret skills he had learnt, along with rules of order, that he reached 3rd stage. Jian Wushuang could not have beaten him previously in terms of power. But now, even without rules of order, based on inverse cultivation's advantage alone, along with the immortal celestial body, he was on par with Demon King Chen Yu, or perhaps even stronger. Chapter 2132 Setting O. Now this is true 3rd stage fighting power, Jian Wushuang smiled. Although he could go head-on against Demon King Chen Yu back at the Heaven-Repairing Palace without fear of suppression thanks to his impressive survival abilities, in terms of true power, Jian Wushuang was still slightly lagging behind. Now, Jian Wushuang was almost stronger than Demon King Chen Yu, and did not lose out at all when it came to secret skills. Jian Wushuang was confident he could take Demon King Chen Yu head-on once again, and perhaps even suppress him if he played the right cards. This fighting power was of a true 3rd stage Great Emperor. If I could make some further improvements to reach the 3rd stage, or get the hang of some rules of order, my fighting powers would increase. Jian Wushuang shook his head and laughed. The time I've taken cultivating has simply been too short. I could not ask for more. With the immemorial celestial body's 2nd scroll successfully cultivated, Jian Wushuang was ready to take off. This time, he took Jian Yi. Thunderbolt Island, within the Great Hall, Emperor Bai sat at the top, while Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, King Chen Xing, Black Dragon Emperor, and Lei Yuan stood at the center. These 6 emperors rushed over upon Emperor Bai's transmission. Xiao! A figure appeared within the hall. It was Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor, Ancient Emperor, Abysmal Saint Master, King Chen Xing and the others all called out. Jian Wushuang nodded and looked towards Emperor Bai. When he refined the immemorial celestial body's 2nd scroll, he made sure Emperor Bai knew, who then summoned the experts. Everyone, I have gathered you all here for a special assignment. I require your collected strength. Are you all willing to join me? Emperor Bai asked the 6. Abysmal Saint Master and others looked at each other and all nodded. Seeing this, Emperor Bai continued. The task is extraordinary, so Jian Wushuang will lead it personally. Throughout the mission, you must follow his orders. Is that understood? The 6 were taken aback but had no objections as it was Jian Wushuang leading them. Needless to say, the 3 experts from the special tribes followed their leader, Jian Wushuang. The 3 Sanctuary Alliance members had no objections either, even Emperor God Qianling. Because, regardless of strength or status, no one could beat Jian Wushuang, so of course he should lead them. Seeing the expressions of the 6 emperors, Jian Wushuang smiled, then solemnly said, for special reasons, I cannot tell you the specific task content for the time being. There is another thing. I'll need to put the 6 of you in an uncomfortable position. You all may be slightly aggrieved by it. Aggrieved? The 6 emperors were all surprised, but all were fine except the Abysmal Saint Master. He had already guessed what Jian Wushuang had wanted to do because Jian Wushuang had said the same thing to him before entering the Imperial City back at the 3 Emperors' world. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang spoke. The divine weapon I hold is a suppressive treasure. I will need to suppress all 6 of you within this divine weapon to facilitate movement. Are you all willing? The expressions of all 6 people changed, except the Abysmal Saint Master. After all, being suppressed meant handing their lives over to another person. I'm okay with that. Abysmal Saint Master was the first that spoke. He had stayed in Jian Wushuang's divine weapon for years previously at the 3 Emperors' world. With that experience, he had no fear. King Chen Xing came from the ancient god clan and had pledged allegiance to Jian Wushuang. Naturally, he did not hesitate too much and directly agreed. Ha ha, it's only for a short period of time, it means nothing. Whatever the ancient emperor commands, I will never refuse, the Black Dragon Emperor smiled. Jian Wushuang had saved her life and clan in the past. She had already developed feelings for Jian Wushuang long before the request. She would never reject Jian Wushuang's request to stay within the divine weapon. 3 of the 6 had agreed. Underworld God and Lei Yuan hesitated for a while but eventually agreed. One person was left, and it was Emperor God Qianling. Emperor God Qianling. No, Great Emperor Qianling, Emperor Bai's voice resonated. I know what your concerns are. Rest assured, Jian Wushuang will not take his personal revenge against you. Abysmal Saint Master was in the same situation as you previously. Emperor God Qianling flinched and took a glance at Abysmal Saint Master. Eventually, he agreed. Like that, all 6 great emperors agreed. Since you all have agreed, please do not resist. Jian Wushuang smiled, as his Blood Mountain sword turned into a huge mountain, and suppressed the 6 great emperors. If it had been under other circumstances, it would not have been easy. These 6 great emperors. It was much easier to do it when they did not resist. Soon all 6 of them were suppressed within Jian Wushuang's Blood Mountain sword. For Jian Yi, he was long within the Blood Mountain sword. Jian Wushuang, take care and do not be reckless. This is a life and death situation for the eternal chaotic world, Emperor Bai instructed. Understood. Jian Wushuang nodded and made his way. Within the boundless dark void, the dark millstone the size of a few kingdoms floated there quietly. It had long stopped moving. Within the dark millstone lie the 3 emperors' world. Jian Wushuang had arrived at the edge of the dark millstone. Before arriving at the dark millstone, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. The Supreme Emperor Stone had not been destroyed the previous time I was here. There was such a huge formation then. The Sanctuary Alliance took great measures to send my team of 4 in the 3 Emperors' world. But now, the temporary seals around the Dark Millstone do not stop me from entering without a trace. They encountered several seals along the way, but Jian Wushuang had managed to make his way around it. Soon, he was within 3 Emperors' world territory. Chapter 2133 Revisiting 3 Emperors' world. At the edge of the 3 Emperors' world, Jian Wushuang's figure appeared above the boundless void. As he appeared, his appearance and the aura on him began to change. Within a moment of time, he turned into a cold young man with a sword on his back. His aggressive aura was too strong to not notice. It was as if he would strike anyone down the moment he was not pleased. His aura was at a regular Emperor God's level, meaning to say a middle-stage chaotic realm expert. There were many similar experts in the 3 Emperors' world. Let's go. Jian Wushuang went straight for the 3 Emperors' world's core, the Imperial City. With his previous experience, he was able to navigate the way there easily. After some time, Jian Wushuang arrived at the void near the Imperial City. Jian Wushuang stood in the void and looked over the huge city. The last time Jian Wushuang had been there, the Supreme Emperor Stone had already been destroyed, leading to the collapse of the Imperial City's formation. But it seemed that the formation had been reactivated. Looks like the 3 Emperors' world has found another power source, Jian Wushuang mumbled but was not surprised. A formation only the size of a city did not require too much power. It was not hard for the 3 Emperors' world to reactivate it. But the dark millstone outside was too gigantic. With the Supreme Emperor Stone destroyed, they could not find an alternative power source, which kept it from reactivating. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and headed towards the Imperial City gates. The gate was heavily guarded, as usual. During his way in, Jian Wushuang felt a concealed aura. The aura could not have been sensed by normal experts, but Jian Wushuang could feel it clearly. It was a great emperor. A great emperor seeing to the guarding of a city gate personally. Jian Wushuang smiled. Obviously, after the previous incident, the 3 Emperors' world had increased their level of vigilance. Jian Wushuang was immediately stopped at the gate, and a silver-haired elder appeared in front of him. Do you intend to enter the Imperial City? He asked Jian Wushuang. Indeed. Jian Wushuang nodded. May I get your name, as well as which family or domain you come from? The silver-haired elder asked. Jian Wushuang frowned, and said, My name is Duan Lingfeng. I have no family, and I've always acted alone. I'm from the Dragon Heart God Mansion. The Dragon Heart God Mansion was one of 48 God Mansions the three emperors' world controlled. Jian Wushuang himself had never traveled to that place. Duan Lingfeng? Dragon Heart God Mansion. The silver-haired elder nodded. Please give me a moment to confirm this. Confirm. Jian Wushuang felt something was amiss. Unexpectedly, the silver-haired elder raised his head and said, Sir, I have just talked to the ruler of the Dragon Heart God Mansion owner. He has not heard of a middle-stage chaotic realm expert by the name of Duan Lingfeng. What nonsense is this? The three emperors' world is so large with countless experts. I myself rarely show my face outside. Of course, I would be unrecognized by others. You mean I cannot enter the imperial city because of this? Jian Wushuang was angered. My apologies, but the Sanctuary Alliance has already given their orders. Any lone experts that we are unable to properly identify are all barred from entering the imperial city. You'll need an expert from the high ranks of the Sanctuary Alliance to give you the green light, the silver-haired elder said. Such a hassle, might as well not enter. Jian Wushuang snorted and turned away. The silver-haired elder watched Jian Wushuang leave emotionlessly. Duan Lingfeng? A middle-stage chaotic realm expert, unrecognized by anyone, what a freak. Under these circumstances, it's best we don't allow these kinds of people into the imperial city, the silver-haired elder mumbled to himself. In a void not far from the imperial city, Jian Wushuang stopped. His expression was visibly sour. How could I be rejected at the gates? Jian Wushuang mumbled. It's normal. You entered the imperial city using the same method as previously, causing them their supreme emperor stone. With that heavy lesson, it's normal for them to take precautions, the suppressed abysmal Saint Master said from within the Blood Mountain sword. Our plan was to infiltrate and attack the three emperors' world's lair from within. If we can't even get through their gates, how will we succeed? Underworld God said. Jian Wushuang had explained the mission to the great emperors on the way. It is a bit troublesome, but there is a way, Jian Wushuang said solemnly. They simply bar unknown experts from entering. If that's the case, I'll create an identity, or simply disguise myself as a three emperors world expert. Disguise. How would you disguise yourself? Abysmal Saint Master asked. No rush, let's find the three emperors world's intelligence unit first. Without further explanation, he went on his way. The three emperors world had 12 states, 84 god mansions, and countless domains. Within such a large domain, the influence spheres were similarly complicated, and naturally there would be organizations that sold intelligence. Jian Wushuang soon found a relatively powerful intelligence unit. I need intelligence regarding some chaotic realm experts, those that have disappeared or fallen, the more ancient the better, Jian Wushuang instructed. Please wait. The personnel immediately started organizing their information. Within the Blood Mountain sword, the 7 great emperors, Jianyi included, looked at each other. They understood what Jian Wushuang was trying to do. He was about to disguise himself as a three emperors world expert that had vanished for years. Those kinds of experts hid well, to the extent that no one knew if they were still around. It was normal for those kinds of experts to appear once in a while. Within moments, the personnel from the intelligence unit handed Jian Wushuang a detailed list of the chaotic realm experts. Jian Wushuang began analyzing the list. There were 10 people on the list, all of whom had vanished. The youngest missing case was 160,000 years ago, whereas the oldest missing case had happened 8 million years ago. It was almost certain that he had fallen. Chapter 2134 Old Monster Hong Chen. These people. Jian Wushuang took a close look at every expert's details on the list, but finally, his eyes fixated on one person. This person was named Hong Chen, also known as Old Monster Hong Chen, Old Demon Hong Chen, and he had vanished over 1 million years ago without a trace. The information indicated that due to Old Monster Hong Chen's inward nature, he had made no friends. He was quite the willful devil as well. It was because of that he found himself chased down by a family he had offended 1 million years ago but escaped from, badly hurt. He was not heard of since. This old monster Hong Chen has disappeared for over 1 million years. He has most likely fallen. Maybe he's still alive, but still too afraid to show his face against so many enemies he had made. No matter, his identity will be useful to me, Jian Wushuang smiled. He chose old monster Hong Chen out of 10 vanished experts for 2 reasons. He had no friends, making him unrecognizable, and his willful personality would make things easier for Jian Wushuang. Him it is. With that settled, Jian Wushuang's appearance started to change. Once a cold youngster with a sword on his back, Jian Wushuang had now changed to a red-robed, red-haired fierce elder. It was based off what the information had suggested regarding old monster Hong Chen's appearance. With abilities at such a high level, it was too easy for Jian Wushuang to transform. Not only his appearance, but even Jian Wushuang's aura transformed into an evil, eerie one. The impression he gave others was undoubted of a devil. With how I look right now, if I call myself old monster Hong Chen, unless someone is extremely close with him, no one will doubt my disguise. Furthermore, this old monster Hong Chen had no friends. Who could identify me? Of course, I still need to make some preparations before I enter the Imperial City. Jian Wushuang snorted and made his way towards the Imperial City. Several days later, in a normal domain within the 3 Emperors world, a remote mountain range could be spotted within a dense, eerie forest. Xiao! 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 4 figures appeared in the void above the mountain range simultaneously. This is it, guys. A purple-robed woman looked downwards at the mountain range. Lingxi, you're sure a mountain dwelling lies within this range? A sturdy man asked while frowning. I'm sure, the purple-robed woman replied. The mountain dwelling was discovered by accident 3 days ago. I did not notice it at first, but at that moment a boundless aura came from within the dwelling. The aura must have come from a treasure, which led me to the dwelling. I wanted to search for it on my own, but I was stopped by a battle puppet. That puppet was strong, even though his methods were ordinary. I don't know what he did, but his strength and speed were at early-stage chaotic realm levels. I was not his opponent. That's why I found you all. A treasure's aura, with a strong puppet to guard it. Undoubtedly, the mountain dwelling had something. Let's approach it quietly. Lingxi, you lead the way. The 4 went on their way. Soon they had entered the mountain dwelling and found the puppet which the purple-robed woman had mentioned. The 4 of them had already reached pinnacle chaotic real god. Collaborating and using all their might, they finally surpassed the puppet and continued making their way towards the mountain dwelling. They did not know that a red-robed, red-haired elder was waiting for them. They have arrived. Jian Wushuang smiled and continued pretending to be in meditation. Before long, the 4 real gods reached the deepest part of the mountain dwelling. When they reached, they did not find any treasure. Instead, they found the red-haired elder. Before they could react, the red-haired elder opened his eyes. A terrifying aura was instantly let out from within the mountain dwelling. The gall of you all to barge into my place of seclusion. The red-haired elder made his move. Crap! Make a run for it. The 4 real gods were flustered. It was then that they realized the mountain dwelling was no expert's remnant, but a chaotic realm expert's place of meditation and seclusion. They had offended the other party, and now he wanted them all dead. Hong! 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 The red-haired elder made several moves and instantly killed 3 people. Only the purple-robed woman managed to escape. Of course, Jian Wushuang had intentionally let her go. After the purple-robed female had left, the word spread as expected. Old monster Hong Chen, a name last heard 1,000,000 years ago, had reappeared. This was what Jian Wushuang had wanted. He had intentionally lured the 4 people in and let the woman escape, all for old monster Hong Chen's name to be mentioned all over 3 Emperors world once again. But this was not enough. Soon after old monster Hong Chen's name started going around, Jian Wushuang arrived at a huge family. This family was the famous Dan clan within the 3 Emperors world. The Dan clan had many experts, with reported 7 chaotic realm experts and 1 middle-stage chaotic realm elder. This Dan clan had also chased down old monster Hong Chen over 1,000,000 years ago, forcing him into seclusion. Looking at the huge family, Jian Wushuang laughed. A loud roar resonated through the heavens. You Dan rats, you chased me down 1,000,000 years ago, forcing me out. Today, I have come for my revenge. Everyone in Dan clan, die. Chapter 2135 Shocking the Three Emperors World Dan clan was exterminated. Even though the Chaotic Realm experts had managed to rush back from the Imperial City in time, it did not change the fact that they were exterminated. Over 90% of the experts from the Dan clan were killed. Only the lucky few escaped. The Dan clan disappeared within moments. The one who had caused this was the old monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared over a million years ago. This news spread like wildfire across the entire Three Emperors world. Many of the experts and clans were surprised and were all commenting on the incident. Old monster Hong Chen is alive after all these years? Not only is he alive, he has become even stronger. He must have encountered great opportunities during the time he was gone and become a top-tier middle-stage chaotic realm. This old monster is still so fierce and heartless. The first thing he does when he comes to light is to exterminate a clan. He is not even affected after killing so many cultivators. He is called Old Monster Hong Chen for a reason. He was never a kind man. Back then, it was the Dan clan that caused him to almost die. Now that he has finally recovered some power, what is stopping him from taking revenge? Many of the experts in the Three Emperors world were talking about this incident. No one doubted his true identity, no matter what their opinions on the matter were. There was nothing to be suspicious of. Everyone believed that the one who had exterminated the Dan clan was old monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared a million years ago. However, within a city somewhere in the Three Emperors world, an elderly man in red clothes was in disbelief when he got news of this. Who is impersonating me? This elderly man in red clothes was the real old monster Hong Chen. He had been hiding his true identity all this time as he was afraid of the Dan clan. Now, Dan clan had been exterminated. Most importantly, he was the one who had exterminated it. He was still an early-stage chaotic realm expert. How could he exterminate the Dan clan alone? Without a doubt, there was someone using his identity. Why did he impersonate me? What is his goal? Old monster Hong Chen muttered to himself. He then shook his head and continued, "It does not matter. He helped me exterminate Dan clan and avenged me. I shall let him use my name to do whatever he wants." Old monster Hong Chen did not plan on exposing Jian Wushuang. Even though the Dan clan had been exterminated, he would never use the identity of old monster Hong Chen ever again. Old monster Hong Chen's name had become well known in the Three Emperors world after the Dan clan was exterminated. Jian Wushuang had achieved his goal. Now I can enter the Imperial City confidently. Jian Wushuang smiled as he headed toward the entrance of Imperial City. At the gate of Imperial City, it was guarded tightly. The elder in grey clothes who had stopped Jian Wushuang from entering was still standing there. An extremely evil and gloomy aura could be felt from the space far away. This aura was flamboyant. Even though the person was still far away, the elderly man in grey clothes noticed it. What an evil aura! Who is that? The elderly man in grey clothes knitted his eyebrows. Soon, the owner of the aura appeared at the entrance and revealed his face. It was an elderly man with red hair and clothes. It has been so long since I was last here. The Imperial City feels different. Jian Wushuang muttered to himself casually. May I know who you are? The elderly man in grey clothes asked Jian Wushuang. I am Ancestor Hong Chen. Jian Wushuang replied. Ancestor Hong Chen? The elderly man in grey clothes turned pale. The actions of this devil were widespread across the Three Emperors world. According to some, this devilish man had been meditating in a secluded cave until some real gods chanced upon his cave and woke him up. He had then immediately exterminated the Dan clan, which caused quite a commotion. Now, he was here at the Imperial Palace. Oh. So why are you here at the Imperial Palace? The elder man in grey clothes asked. I have reached the peak of middle stage chaotic realm. I am very close to peak chaotic realm. Why do you think I am here? Jian Wushuang smirked. You are here to use the resources within the Imperial Palace to break through to peak chaotic realm. The elder man in grey clothes understood his intentions and was not suspicious at all. Hey old fool, are you going to let me through? Jian Wushuang said impatiently. The elder man in grey clothes knitted his eyebrows. Even though old monster Hong Chen was infamously known to be a devil, he still had the right to enter the imperial palace as long as he was an almighty. You can enter. I have to remind you to control your temper and not break any rules inside the palace. Even though you can exterminate the Dan clan alone, there are still many experts within the palace who can kill you easily. The elder man in grey clothes said, I do not need someone like you to remind me of these things. Scram and stop blocking my way, Jian Wushuang roared as he headed into the palace. The elder man in grey clothes knitted his eyebrows lightly but did not stop him. It took some effort, but I finally made it in. Jian Wushuang smiled as he looked around within the imperial palace. Since he had made it into the imperial palace, what followed would be much more simple. This is Emperor Summit? The protecting formation is gone? Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up when he saw the magnificent summit in the distance. The imperial cabinet was located at the top of that summit. He remembered he had only managed to successfully enter the Emperor Summit after winning the qualification battle. Now, the Emperor Summit was completely open to the public. Beside the Emperor Summit, there were 3 large statues which stood tall and proud. There had originally been a golden vortex in the middle of the 3 statues. Now that the Supreme Emperor Stone was destroyed, the vortex had disappeared too. Many people were meditating in front of the 3 statues. Within a bar inside the imperial palace, Jian Wushuang sat there drinking wine. He was also listening in to the people around talking about the changes to the imperial palace. According to what the waiter was saying, the changes to Imperial City had happened about 10 years ago. Someone had ventured into the Emperor Summit and destroyed the sacred stone. The people in the 3 Emperors world called the man who had destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone the Devil. Chapter 2136 Baited Devil. Jian Wushuang touched his nose as he looked at the people talking weirdly. He knew that he was devil the experts from the 3 Emperors world were talking about. Ever since he had destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone, the security within the imperial palace had been much tighter and the rules much more stringent. Furthermore, there were more experts on standby within the imperial palace to prepare for the upcoming battle. This meant that there would be far more experts within the palace compared to before. If there are more experts in the palace, this means that we can kill more when we ambush them. The 3 Emperors world will face a greater loss, Jian Wushuang thought coldly. Everyone get ready. We are about to execute our plan. Jian Wushuang messaged the other 7 great emperors. Finally, haha, I can't wait anymore. The 7 great emperors inside the Blood Mountain Sword were all excited. They had anticipated this since they knew what the mission was about. Now, they were finally going to start the mission for real. Throughout the journey, Jian Wushuang had also communicated with Emperor Bai and asked him about his preparations. Ever since the Supreme Emperor Stone had been destroyed and the formation surrounding the Dark Millstone had collapsed, the space-time was no longer restricted and Jian Wushuang could transmit messages with the outside world easily. After receiving Jian Wushuang's message, Emperor Bai gathered the experts from Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance. Everything was prepared quickly and everyone was ready to go. After taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang moved. He flew towards the 3 statues. Since they were going to ambush, they should ambush a place where there would be a large number of people. At the foot of the 3 Emperors world, that was where the highest number of experts gathered. Thousands of experts in the realm of Chaotic Realm who were sat in front of the statues were meditating. They were densely packed in that small space. Sword Emperor, even though there are many almighties here, there are no great emperors. It would be better if we attracted a few great emperors here. Abysmal Saint Master said. Yes, I understand. Jian Wushuang nodded his head while he looked at the imperial cabinet. There were 3 great emperors around the golden vortex guarding the Supreme Emperor Stone when it was still here. After the stone was destroyed, there was no need for a great emperor to be on guard anymore. Hence, most of the great emperors within the 3 Emperors world stay within the Emperor Cabinet. It would not be a wise choice if they decided to ambush the Emperor Cabinet directly, as there were many great emperors residing within it. The best way was to attract the attention of a few great emperors and fight them beside the 3 large statues. Just then, 2 figures were flying towards the space Jian Wushuang was in. One was a handsome prince, the other was a teenage girl in green clothes. Coincidentally, Jian Wushuang had met them before. Ha! Ling Tianhao? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Ling Qianhao and him had had a grudge when he'd first come to the imperial palace. Back then, Jian Wushuang had masked his identity by pretending to be a rude, overpowering man show. Now he was here for the second time. They met again. Ha ha. What a coincidence. Jian Wushuang laughed. He thought for a moment. I have an idea. Jian Wushuang fixed his gaze on Ling Qianhao as he flew towards him. Ling Qianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes planned to meditate in front of the three statues. Hum. A figure which radiated gloom and death appeared in front of them. What a powerful aura. Ling Qianhao was shocked. The person radiating this aura is at least a person in middle stage chaotic realm. The teenage girl in green clothes panicked. The two people quickly calmed down and greeted the man humbly. Is there a problem, sir? Humph. Are you Ling Qianhao? Jian Wushuang asked coldly. Yes, I am. Ling Qianhao replied, curious as to why the unknown man had asked him this. If that is the case, die. Your family and the Dan family tried to kill me. This is revenge. Jian Wushuang attacked. Oh no. Ling Qianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes were caught by surprise. The experts meditating in front of the statues were alarmed as they looked over in surprise. They were surprised by his courage, not his power. He had dared to attack within the imperial palace right in front of the three statues. He was neglecting the imperial cabinet and the rules within the palace. The moment Jian Wushuang attacked. Boom! 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 Many powerful auras erupted as 6 figures appeared. They were the 6 deacons in the middle stage chaotic realm. Stop! You have courage, attacking so flagrantly within the imperial palace. You better stop, or you will die. Roars of anger were heard. Hearing these roars, Jian Wushuang bellowed with laughter. Ha ha. The few of you can't stop me, Ancestor Hong Chen. Jian Wushuang's blood-red hand grew in size as a terrifying aura radiated in all directions. The hand managed to force the 6 deacons back. His aura was overbearing. Many people in the crowd were stunned. It's him, Ancestor Hong Chen? The man who single-handedly exterminated the Dan clan is here at the imperial palace. No wonder he dared to attack others within the imperial palace. He is notorious for his lawlessness. Many of the experts exclaimed. Ha ha. Jian Wushuang continued to chase after Ling Qianhao ferociously. Oh no. The 6 deacons turned pale. They were responsible for maintaining order around the 3 statues. If Ancestor Hong Chen killed Ling Qianhao, they would be severely punished. Right then. Humph. A majestic grunt was heard. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was elated. They took the bait. Chapter 2137. Judge men, you have courage to attack in the middle of the imperial palace. A deep voice reverberated through the entire space and an overbearing aura was felt. The crowd fell quiet. A red-haired elder who had his hands behind his back appeared in the space above the statues. The aura came from him. Everyone around looked at this elder man with red hair. It is a titan. A titan in the realm of peak chaotic realm appeared. I recognize this man. He is Lord Feng Wu. Many cultivators look at him in respect and adoration. Titans in the peak chaotic realm were the equivalent to the great emperor realm in the eternal chaotic world. It was rare to see them in 3 emperors' world, and every single one of them was well respected by everyone. This red-haired elder Feng Wu was one of them. Lord. Lord. The 6 deacons greeted the elder man. One of them stepped out and said, Lord, the 6 of us are in charge of maintaining peace and order here in front of the 3 statues. When Ancestor Hong Chen tried to kill someone, we tried to stop him immediately, but he overpowered us. If you had not appeared, he would have killed the man successfully. Oh. Feng Wu knitted his eyebrows. Lord Feng Wu. I am from the Ling clan from the prefecture Tong. My family has no grudge with Ancestor Hong Chen. I also have never done anything to piss him off and have no idea why he attacked me today. I hope you, my lord, can help me. Nonsense. Once Ling Qianhao had finished speaking, Jian Wushuang roared, if I had no reason, why would I bully a youngster like him? Back then the Ling clan and the Dan clan allied with each other and almost killed me. Since I met a disciple from the Ling clan, Of course I wanted to kill you to vent my anger. Humph. Feng Wu looked at Jian Wushuang coldly and said, even if you had great resentment against the Lin clan, you should settle it outside the imperial palace. Since you are in the palace now, you need to obey the rules. Your name is Hong Chen, right? You attacked others and almost killed someone within the palace. You have infringed the rules set in place in the imperial palace and you shall be punished. I sentence you to 100,000 years within the emperor jail. Feng Wu said coldly as he declared Jian Wushuang's sentence. Everyone was shocked. The emperor jail was a place which all the high-profile prisoners were sent to. There were many ways inside to torture their victims. Even experts in the chaotic realm would turn pale once they heard of the emperor jail. Usually, a chaotic realm expert would start breaking down after 1,000 years. 100,000 years? Even an expert in the middle stage chaotic realm would not have been able to take it. No one dared to stand up for Jian Wushuang. They felt that Jian Wushuang should receive punishment when he broke the rules. Feng Wu was one of the few titans in the emperor cabinet. He had the right to sentence people to jail. They felt that Jian Wushuang should take the punishment willingly. In reality, me, going to the emperor jail for 100,000 years. Dream on. I like my unrestrained lifestyle and I don't care about the rules within the imperial palace. Since I am not welcomed here, I shall leave. Jian Wushuang laughed and turned around as though he was about to leave. How dare you? Feng Wu roared in anger. The imperial palace has its own rules. If you are obedient and enter the jail for 100,000 years, you can still be free. If you do not obey my orders, you shall die. I will die. What a joke. Jian Wushuang was not afraid as he tried to leave. Feng Wu stopped wasting time with Jian Wushuang as killing intent surged. His aura erupted and covered everyone around. He moved. He was like an emperor as he attacked Jian Wushuang. He was very quick and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang almost instantaneously. Feng Wu yelled as he chopped with his blood-red sword. Clouds of blood filled the entire space as the imperial palace turned red. A terrifying aura radiated outwards as the experts turned pale. This is the power of an expert in peak chaotic realm. Only those in the peak chaotic realm could be called titans. The difference in each stage within the chaotic realm is too large. Ancestor Hong Chen could have survived if he had listened to Lord Feng Wu and gone to the emperor jail and stayed there for 100,000 years. Looks like he will die here today. Lord Feng Wu is attacking him personally. Ancestor Hong Chen is dead meat. Humph. He asked for it himself. Who can he blame? The experts around looked at him sympathetically. They all felt that Jian Wushuang was definitely dead. It was normal for them to think so. There was no doubt that a peak chaotic realm could kill a middle stage chaotic realm easily, especially within the imperial palace. Even if Feng Wu could not kill him, there were other titans within the palace that could. The blood-red strike appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. It contained the power of space-time and locked onto Jian Wushuang. He could not have escaped even if he'd wanted to. Jian Wushuang stood there and smiled playfully. He did not attempt to dodge, which made the rest think that he was either too shocked to move, or he knew he couldn't dodge it. In reality, he was not worried at all. Jian Wushuang saw the red-haired elder Feng Wu before. Back then, he had been one of the guardians of the Supreme Emperor Stone and they'd even fought. It was a pity Jian Wushuang had lost easily as there were 3 of them there. Feng Wu was at the power level of an ordinary stage 1 great emperor. Jian Wushuang was not worried about attacks coming from him. Eventually, the blood-red slash hit Jian Wushuang in the chest as it tried to slash him into half. In the end, clang. This sound made it seem like the slash had clashed onto an indestructible rock, not a human being. After the collision, only a spark was seen. Jian Wushuang was unharmed. Chapter 2138 No choice left. What? The confident red-haired elder Feng Wu was in shock. The experts around had their mouths open wide in disbelief. Feng Wu was a titan in the peak chaotic realm. His attack had collided with the target and yet he was unharmed? Even if the person had body armor, the force the slash contained would either get him severely wounded or cause the victim to fly back. However, Ancestor Hong Chen just stood there calmly, not moving. He was not affected by the attack from Feng Wu. You. Feng Wu looked at Jian Wushuang, dumbfounded. What? Do you think this is amazing? Jian Wushuang smiled playfully. When Feng Wu saw that expression, a dawn of realization hit him. No, that's not right. Even another expert in peak chaotic realm would be forced back when hit by my attack. No one within the Three Emperors world has this terrifying self-defense mechanism. I have only seen one person in my entire life reach that stage. Feng Wu widened his eyes as he stared at Jian Wushuang and roared, "You are definitely not Ancestor Hong Chen, and you are definitely not in middle stage chaotic realm." Ha! Jian Wushuang smiled sheepishly and revealed his true form. At that instant, an aura even more terrifying than Feng Wu's erupted and swept out in all directions. This aura made every expert tremble to their core. At the same time, Jian Wushuang's appearance changed. It was originally a stubborn elder man in red clothes. Now, he looked completely different. He looked younger, firmer, and colder. Once the face had appeared, Feng Wu felt his head was about to explode. It is you. Of course it is you. Jian Wushuang. A loud howl reverberated in the sky. This terrible howl pierced through the air and shocked everyone. Not just Feng Wu, who was dumbfounded, but Ling Qianhao, who was standing not too far away, was also shocked. A fear like never before manifested in his heart. Devil! It's the devil! The devil is back! Ling Qianhao screamed crazily. Devil? The surrounding experts were stunned, and then the uproar began. Only one person had been called the devil in all of Three Emperors' world history. That person was the man that had stood up to 13 titans in the chaotic realm, destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone, and left alive. In everyone's mind, this person was the strongest, most undefeatable and unkillable devil. And this devil was now here? Ha ha! Looks like my name is well known in the Three Emperors world. Jian Wushuang saw the facial expressions of the experts around and smiled. Feng Wu, who stood in front of Jian Wushuang, was fearful for his own life and retreated quickly. He wanted to escape as he knew for a fact that there was no way he could beat Jian Wushuang. It was a pity that Jian Wushuang had other plans for him. Don't be so anxious to leave. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly as he waved his hands. Whoosh! 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 7 figures appeared in the space around Jian Wushuang. When the 7 figures appeared, 7 overbearing auras of peak chaotic realm swept out. Any one of these 7 auras made Feng Wu fear for his own life. Oh no! Feng Wu turned pale and ran without hesitation. The 7 experts who came out from the Blood Mountain sword attacked. All 7 of these great emperors targeted Feng Wu. Most importantly, every single expert was much stronger than Feng Wu. Feng Wu stood no chance against the 7 men. Boom! After a loud bang, his corpse fell to the ground. There was a hole in his head and chest area. His life dissipated instantly without a trace. I thought that great emperors were very powerful and it would take a great amount of effort to kill one. Looks like it is easy to kill one if the person is powerful enough or many great emperors ally together. Jian Wushuang smiled as he looked at the crowd. Everyone, let us start the massacre. Once Jian Wushuang finished his sentence, the 7 great emperors moved. Boom! Overbearing aura mixed with a heavy killing intent erupted. The 7 great emperors split up and they attacked. There were a great number of experts around the 3 statues. Initially, there were around 1,000 chaotic realm experts meditating there. Following the commotion, many experts were drawn over and there were over 1,500 experts now. They were simply in the early stage chaotic realm and the middle stage chaotic realm. No matter how many of them there was nothing they could do unless they formed up in a battle formation. Against the 7 great emperors, they had no chance. No! No! Run! Escape! The devil brought some titans from the peak chaotic realm? Run! Miserable shouts and cries could be heard everywhere. The experts in the chaotic realm had no courage to try and withstand the attacks. They simply ran. However, their speeds were no match for great emperors such as the abysmal Saint Master. The 7 great emperors slaughtered a great number of experts from the chaotic realm. Around the 3 statues was an area for meditation. Within seconds, it had turned into Azura hell. In the middle of the battlefield, Jian Wushuang stood there calmly. Ling Qianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes stood in front of him. These two stared at Jian Wushuang, terrified. Devil, devil! Ling Qianhao roared as fear rose from the bottom of his heart. Jian Wushuang looked at Ling Qianhao coldly as he slashed his sword. 2 sword lights shot out instantly. Ling Qianhao and the teenage girl were killed by the 2 sword lights. They could not even put up a fight. Do not blame me for being merciless. I have no choice, Jian Wushuang muttered. Chapter 2139 16 Great Emperors in the middle of the battlefield. Jian Wushuang stood coldly as he surveyed the battlefield. He was emotionless even when he saw Abysmal Saint Master, Jian Yi, and the other great emperors kill a large number of experts from the 3 emperor world. Many of these people were innocent cultivators. They might not have even known of the existence of the eternal chaotic world. They were born in the 3 emperors world. They cultivated there to become stronger. However, the leaders of the 3 emperors world had already decided to declare war on the eternal chaotic world. Only one side would emerge victorious after the battle. If the 3 emperors world lost the war, they would be exterminated. That was the same case for the eternal chaotic world. If it lost, all life would be lost. Just like Jian Wushuang had said, he had no choice. He had to cause the greatest damage to the 3 emperor worlds lineup to achieve victory in the upcoming war. He had to find a way to do it unscrupulously, even if it cost him everything he had. Not just him, but every single of the 7 great emperors had the same mentality. Jian Wushuang had control over Jian Yi's brain. For the remaining emperors, Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, Emperor God Qian Ling, King Chen Xing, Black Dragon Emperor and Soleil Yuan, they were all well-respected and powerful people, but they would never give it their all to kill so many experts in the eternal chaotic realm. This time, however, they had made up their minds. They had no choice. Everything I'm going to do is for the eternal chaotic world. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist as he made up his mind. He looked up and looked at the distant space. There, figures with powerful auras were rushing towards him. They were the great emperors residing within the imperial cabinet. There were at least 10 of them. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Continue to kill them. I will handle those great emperors. Jian Wushuang yelled and flew towards the 10 great emperors. Many great emperors were rushing towards the 3 statues some distance away from the 3 statues. There were a total of 16 great emperors. This was about half the total fighting power of the 3 emperors world. They saw the massacre of the large number of chaotic realm experts and turned pale. The distance between the imperial cabinet and the 3 statues was not very great. They rushed over immediately after they noticed the battle. However, they still need some time to travel over even if they were great emperors. This time they took was sufficient for the Abysmal Saint Master and the remaining 6 great emperors to start the massacre. They could sense that at least 300 experts in the chaotic realm were dead, and the slaughter was still ongoing. Bastard! One of the great emperors cursed. Jian Wushuang. It is this Jian Wushuang again. The bald man who looked like a wild beast said. He was the leader of the 16 great emperors. This bald man was Ling Zong. There were 2 people flying alongside him. They were 2 stage 2 great emperors. One of them was in a golden cloak while the other was a white-haired elder woman. As for the remaining 13, they were all stage 1 great emperors. The previous time, the 3 emperors world knew of his whereabouts and was well prepared for his arrival. We even set a trap for him. Not only did he destroy the Supreme Emperor Stone, he also escaped back into the eternal chaotic world. This time, the 3 emperors world took precautions and their security was tighter than ever before, yet they still managed to sneak in. Ling Zong roared. What can we do? The Imperial Palace is a place for experts from the 3 emperors world to come to and gain more resources to become even stronger. Unless we completely seal it off from the rest of the world, someone will eventually sneak past our defenses. One of the well-built middle-aged men standing beside Ling Zong said. This time, Jian Wushuang disguised himself as Ancestor Hong Chen, who had disappeared for 1,000,000 years. He disguised himself so well that the intel department of the Imperial Palace had no suspicion as to whether he was real. That's why we allowed him to enter the Imperial Palace to begin with. After hearing this, the great emperors around shook their heads helplessly. They had indeed put out preventive measures to stop Jian Wushuang and the experts from the eternal chaotic world from entering. In the end, it had been useless. If the sacred stone was not destroyed and is still here, many of the secret restrictions within the Three Emperors world can be used and Jian Wushuang would not be able to be unrestrained. Ling Zong said. It is no use discussing all this. Let's go and stop the experts from the eternal chaotic world now. The white-haired elderly woman said. When they were communicating, boom! A figure which radiated gloom flew towards them. His body was covered in dark jade light and he was over 10 feet tall. There were 9 heads and 18 arms on his giant body. Each of the 18 arms held a sword. Endless waves of sword essence radiated from him. It was as though he was an undefeatable god. Every one of the 16 great emperors was enraged when they saw this figure. Jian Wushuang. Zhong Ling screeched. Jian Wushuang continued to make his way towards the 16 of them without any delay. Within moments, he appeared in front of the 16 great emperors as his overpowering aura enveloped all of them. The aura was so strong that every great emperor trembled slightly when they felt it. Kill him! Zhong Ling roared as the 16 great emperors attacked simultaneously. Zhong Ling was the strongest of them. He was the first to take a step and raised his axe high up in the air. Boom! A black axe expanded in size quietly. However, the aura was terrifying. It crashed down towards Jian Wushuang. The well-built middle-aged man waved his hand, a hand which looked like it was made of jade. The hand too grew in size as it turned into a mountain made entirely out of jade crystals and crashed towards Jian Wushuang. This mountain felt like it could suppress everything in this world. Lastly, the white-haired elder woman held a dark golden stick. She swung that stick at Jian Wushuang as numerous shadows of the dark golden stick were seen. These shadows fused together quickly as it attacked Jian Wushuang. Chapter 2140 Unstoppable Part 1 3 Stage 2 Great Emperors attacked together. Additionally, 13 other Stage 1 Great Emperors attacked with their most powerful skills. There were many different types of attack, and each attack could easily kill an Emperor God. At that moment, the 16 attacks flew towards the space Jian Wushuang was standing in. Boom! A loud boom. The heaven and earth shook. Living things in the vicinity trembled in fear. The space that Jian Wushuang was standing in was covered in a terrifying storm of divine power. This storm was humongous, and it seemed that no great emperor could survive the strangling power of the storm. Is he dead? One of the 16 great emperors who stood in front asked as he stared at the storm. Dead. Ling Zong shook his head as he looked ahead grimly. He clearly knew how scary Jian Wushuang was. He had fought 13 great emperors fearlessly over 10 years ago. He had had no injuries no matter how many hits he suffered. How could he die so easily with his unmatched self-defense mechanism? Sure enough, a sword light lit up the entire storm of divine power. The terrifying aura of the sword light chopped the storm into half. From the middle of the storm, the same 10-foot-tall figure appeared again. He was still equally powerful and unrestrained. This time, Jian Wushuang dashed towards the 16 great emperors. Watch out! The devil is here! Ling Zong screamed as his divine power boiled. Every great emperor stood prepared and looked serious. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang was very fast. He appeared in front of the 16 great emperors and swung his blood mountain sword. A powerful sword essence burst forth. Sword Principle Shen Luo. Blast Rainstorm. It had the speed of a gale and contained the power of a thunderstorm. Jian Wushuang slashed out mercilessly towards 6 great emperors. The 6 great emperors turned pale when they saw the sword light. Let us work together and deflect this attack. Yes. The 6 great emperors made the decision and made their own moves. A terrifying boom exploded as the sword light demolished the attacks the 6 great emperors had cast and the aftershocks swept out. Out of the 6 great emperors, 3 of them grunted as blood seeped out of the corner of their mouths. The remaining 3 flew back like cannonballs. 6 great emperors tried to deflect the attack from Jian Wushuang. The results: the 6 great emperors had lost. Hum. A surging aura came from behind Jian Wushuang. It was a battle axe so large that it filled the sky. It took the chance Jian Wushuang was making his sword skill and ambushed him. The axe was aiming for the head in an attempt to behead him. Jian Wushuang did not even bother looking at the axe as he swung his sword casually. Even though it was a casual swing, the power it contained was still terrifying. One who had great strength could overpower 10 others. Clang! The sound of collision could be heard clearly as the shadow of the axe dissipated. The master of the axe backed off quickly as he looked at Jian Wushuang savagely. He spat out a mouth of blood in the process. The blood covered his body armor as his aura weakened. Jian Wushuang has become much stronger than before. The last time I fought him, I was only at a slight disadvantage when he attacked me with full force. Now, his casual attacks can deflect my most powerful attack and injure me severely. Stage 3. His fighting power must have reached Stage 3. Ling Zong widened his eyes as he stared at Jian Wushuang. He was shocked. Stage 3 Great Emperor. They were the true leaders among the experts in the chaotic realm. Over the course of history, only 3 people had managed to reach it within the 3 emperors' world. These 3 had become the leaders of this world. Now, the fighting power Jian Wushuang was displaying made Ling Zong think that he could be compared to Demon King Chen Yu. At the same time that Ling Zong was marveling at Jian Wushuang's fighting power. Kill him! Angry roars filled the entire battlefield as the various great emperors continued their attacks. The attacks were directed at Jian Wushuang as they approached from every angle possible. The numerous great emperors started their besiege on Jian Wushuang. Against these attacks, a unique sword essence could be felt radiating from Jian Wushuang. At that moment, it was as though his large body had turned into a dark vortex that could swallow everything as Jian Wushuang slashed his sword in a weird way. Sword Principle Shen Luo. Mixed Elements Spirit. Clang. 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 Bang. Boom. Waves of noise reverberated through the air as the attacks were all blocked by Jian Wushuang. The terrifying power of the sword principle forced many great emperors back. At that moment, a flash of killing intent could be seen in his eyes as Jian Wushuang attacked. He crossed the distance between him and the closest great emperor and appeared beside him. That was a mere Stage 1 great emperor. Hua! The sword light descended out of nowhere. This sword light was the fastest style in the sword principle Shen Luo. Turn monstrous at one thought. Watch out! One of the other great emperors beside him said as a warning. What? The lady in red cloak had a terrified expression on her face as she stared at the sword light approaching her. It is too fast. This slash is too fast. I can't do anything. Desperation was written all over her face as the sword light collided with her body. Even though her body armor was extraordinary, it shattered under the sword light and allowed the slash to penetrate her body, killing her. This is only the first. Jian Wushuang looked at the rest coldly as he picked up the Chen Kuan ring and the remaining treasures. He then continued to attack the remaining 15 great emperors. Damn it! Bastard! Terror could be seen on the faces of the remaining 15 angry great emperors. They worked together as 16 great emperors with 3 Stage 2 great emperors when they initiated the attack on Jian Wushuang. The result? Jian Wushuang remained unharmed while one of their comrades died. What was this overbearing fighting power?